Ojwang.
Yes, sir.
The president seems to be getting bolder every day in actually speaking his mind. Yesterday, he came out in Nairobi, akasema ya kwamba siwachi kiti mwizi. Mwizi ni nani?
How is that the complete quote?
Alisema, I'm leaving, but I want to make sure that I don't leave the country to some people. And the question is, in a democracy, you know, even the stories of the Mwizi and all that, does it mean that every time every president that we've had has been handed over by a president that was leaving? Where's the space of democracy?
You see, the democracy should have a warranty of the citizen to even make wrong choice if they want to. And they have made a few wrong choices here and there. This is, but I think in his view, he has where the country should go. That is not a bad thing. He should influence. He should inspire. But I think he also knows the limit of what is doable. What is not doable is that, you know, we saw Biden. Biden did not become president because Trump wanted him to be. Biden became the president in spite of what Trump did. I think he's getting bolder or more else desperate. If there's such a, he's getting desperate and desperate as days move along. At the initial stage, he thought his comment and views are so much sought out that if I just give a hint, people will read. You know, read my lips kind of thing, read my mood, read between the lines. So he's getting a little desperate because time is also running out. But, you know, the best way to influence people is to influence without them knowing you are influencing them. Because usually it is when, you know, they say the art of diplomacy is when somebody do what you want but think they're doing it for themselves. But when you come out to influence very hard, you become less persuasive, you become desperado, and chances that you can move people with conviction become rare because it becomes your project. That is why MCS can easily say, if you want this BBI of yours to pass, then pay to play. Because you have become so attached to it, you are pushing it and ramming it through us, and therefore we can get what we want.
Wow. So the president actually, you know, looking back at history, is there a time an outgoing president has ever influenced an incoming government? In just before Kenyatta died, there was an aggressive campaign to amend the constitution to stop Moi from ascending to power. In 2002, when Moi was leaving power, he had given Uhuru Kenyatta as his successor in apparent hay, and he never got into power. Look again at when it came to the Nusum Kate government. Raila Odinga was the prime minister, kept telling us that we cannot leave the country in the hands of ICC indictees. If you can remember that. The president, there was also the conversation of choices have consequences from the international community. This guy today is a sitting president. I mean, does he forget so fast that he was an ICC indictee before he was elected?
Right. His challenges, and every candidate have challenges, but if there is a candidate, as you have well put it, who had insurmountable challenges, it was his candidacy. Because his candidacy started from even the legality of his eligibility. Clearly worried, clearly not guaranteed. Even serious scholars said, no, there is no way you can run after this new 2010 constitution that is really talking of values and principles of governance as in IT. So he beat all the odds. But I think the message here is let the playing field be even. Nobody's going to get it in silver platter. And I think that the more diversity and the more we have choices, that cannot be a bad thing. But you are also right to observe that it has become almost oppositional, so that the dissent against him can actually be fueling other candidates that he is not endorsing. You know, other candidates have looked at it, and I know there is a time that somebody was to endorse even President Obama, and you look at what is the endorsement going to influence. Is it going to help your brand, or destroy your brand, or dent it in a certain way? So I don't know, maybe political scientists will tell us to what extent does Uhuru endorsement carries in terms of the people persuasion. Is it a brand booster?
Or is it a brand diminisher?
Or a brand diminisher? The jury is out. Yes.
All right, let's see. I'm going to see you. Good morning.
Gerald.
Wacha kulalala na tunataka kukupea serikali.
Si watu wa route yenyu wamegoma ati wanasema hawataki super metro zikuje Ngong Road kwa sababu super metro ziko very orderly. They just want to maintain the disorder yenye inakuanga kwa magari za Ngong.
Super metro ni kina nani?
Kuna hizi magari route ya kwenda Kino, Kikuyu na Juja. Zinakuanga hapo, I think around archives. Where there is usually a very long queue, despite people having multiple options, they just want super metro.
So hao ndio wamefanya usifike kwa kazi mapema.
Hao ndio wamenichelewesha huku nje.
Anyway, good to see you. How you doing?
You are resolving the strike?
Yes, I was trying to mediate.
She was fixing the deadlock.
Daktari. Happy New Year, Daktari.
I
think I seen each other this week.
No,
we haven't seen. Squeezy naoneanga doc pale KTN news.
And you see the way she's getting prettier. I think there are things that happened over the end of the year that really made
since we met here, I think in October. We have not met since she told me off how I have a big head. What else? I still remember the head. There was something wrong with the head. It was disproportionate. There could be other parts, but specifically,
you remember
the head was.
What touched you as the head? I hope you'll get better.
Daktari, I hope you have a better attitude towards advocating for young people this year. Akitafadhali tusikosania hapo. So hakuna kitu kingine tunaweza kosania. Actually, I had a very bad experience the other day.
I saw the video.
Very, very bad experience. You know, it's very sad that you struggle. You're told education is the key to success, and then you struggle to go through the education system. Your parents struggle to raise the school fees, and at the end of the day, your education doesn't seem to make an impact as was expected. You know. And it's a struggle, you know. You can't get employment. Private sector is not thriving, so it cannot create employment. Of course, government cannot create enough employment chances for everybody.
It's not meant to.
It's not meant to. It's not the work of government too. But the work of government is to create a conducive environment for businesses to thrive, so that those businesses can then create employment. Now, when you stop me from even registering that business, where do you expect this employment to come from? And they arrogantly remind us all the time, oh, create employment. Be proactive and employ yourself. Go and do something meaningful. You did not go to school just to be employed. You know, it's...
It is a double speak, Lucia, because I always see, and the person who is talking like that is employed.
Yes.
But telling the youth, mjiajiri na uko, we wacha kutusumbua. The education you had was not for job. Yet, some are even professors.
Yeah.
They are in parliament employed by people. They have not started even a single business, self-employment, but they are here articulating to a 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old, we jiajiri na uko bwana, we wacha kutusumbua. So it is it is a mockery. It is sad, because you are right that what the government should do, you know, I usually talk of human rights and we talk of right to employment, and who has the right to employ you? Is it the government? No, the government should create good environment for social cultural rights, including employment, health, and all that. But there is something I've understood, that the government is more interested and has more conferences for big business deals, for the multinationals. I mean, they want tax wherever they get it. Their lease is over, it's renewed. They have a human rights issue, it's covered up. But they don't think and apply the same to small enterprises. That is why I come from around the border. The small women business have remained magendo across the border. Yet we have signed East African Community Treaty, and we are talking of integration, we are talking of a cross-border business, but that woman who simply go to Uganda shop, pick a few things and bring to Kenya, their business have remained magendo. So there is a way, there is invisibility of the small people within the system. The law is meant for the big, and it become a very sad situation. Yet, I'm glad that you spoke. I saw the video. It's actually up and everywhere, because you stood for emancipation and articulated what probably a lot of young people and old people are going through.
It's not only young people who are broke, actually. Even as old people, we are broke.
If we are broke, they are broke, because we usually end up sharing with them very well.
Yeah, sure. So we're actually having a discussion on the president's comments yesterday that he's not going to hand over the country to some people. And the question is, in a democracy, does the president has the wherewithal to tell us who is going to leave the country? Is the country something that you hand over and say, now, this is my trouser, I've been wearing it for 3 years, I want to hand it over, but I'm not going to hand it over to the son who has been abusing me? I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
Actually, I think President amepoteza plot. Si kwa ubaya. But the president treats this country as his father's business. That's why akona hiyo audacity ya kusimama mbele yetu na tuambie, I'm not going to leave it. Who told you it's yours to leave? Who gave you the permission? Where did you? You know, it's this reckless kind of speaking that actually just messes up everything. You know, I wish we had a president who was structured. I wish we had a president who minded his words. Ours doesn't even seem to think. It's just things coming out of his mind, out of his mouth. You know, like I don't know if he ever consults. I don't know if he has read books. I don't know if he took a course in management. I honestly do not know if there's something he knows about running a country, because whatever it is he's doing goes against everything that management class will teach you.
And then, you know, so the idea of social contract, that we the people is the most important part of our constitution. That we the people say how we want to be governed, and we give people mandate to govern us indirectly. In that social contract, we give up some rights, but at the same time we acquire some. Within that social contract then, we cannot be governed in any other way except how we have allowed ourselves to be governed through the constitution. But there is the extra constitutional now governance where it is moving out of the social contract. As a student of governance, it is purely bad governance. When you look at the values we have in our constitution: accountability, rule of law, democracy. And then one time I asked Professor Guy, you wrote this chapter on values. Were you talking of Kenya values or our neighbors or somebody else? And he said they are aspirational. So the president cannot govern out of the social contract which we have in our constitution, that is saying we, the people, are the sovereign. Sovereign without a gun. It's not the government, it's not him who is the sovereign. And he might have his wishes, and he might have his view of where the country should go. But you know, I've been so much sad of late, because this is the era where I see more of people citing Machiavelli and behaving in a Machiavellian way, than in the constitution way. Machiavelli was 1700, 1800 in Europe. He died, buried. Even French went through revolution, US went through revolution, and constitutions came. We are a constitutional democracy. Even Uganda, even Museveni do not speak that way. You become persuasive by people not knowing you are persuading them. But there is a little bit of desperado on his voice. Thanks.
All right. So we're going to go to the guys in diaspora. I'm going to start with Joel Arama. Joel Arama, good morning.
We would like to actually chip in and help in terms of advice and as you know, tunatuma pesa mingi huko, tukiona ikiwa misused, then we will always complain. Yeah. But we don't have a choice. We'll still send.
Wow.
Kwa nini hujatutumia kwa be miss jaona yako umesema umetuma?
Bana.
Nini yo?
Kwa nini hujatumia yako na umesema you will still send?
Valentine book.
Hey gobe, unataka kunifanyia Valentine mimi? Shindo si time.
No, wacha nikwambie Bitok, the biggest problem ni misuse of events. Wewe unaacha wanawake wanachukua Valentine wanatoroka nayo. Unaona? Lakini ikiwa ni yao ni sawa. Ikiwa ukibadilisha reverse role wanapiga nduru. So saizi ni boy child kaa ngumu boy child.
Haya, nimekusikiza basi. Ulisikia matamshi ya rais?
Yeah, nilisikia. And let me tell you Bitok. And I'll nilisikia Lucia akisema the president has never is talking as if he has never been into a class of management or everything. That is our politics. And we cannot shy away from it. I am telling you, the president has the audacity to say anything in the midst of people who want to hear. And that is what politicians are doing in our country right now. You saw what happened in Kisii. In the midst of whoever Osoro was fighting for was the deputy president. Whoever the other guy was fighting for was the former prime minister. These are lapdogs. It is a high time somebody should stand na kusema hii ni tabia mbaya. And if the leaders stand na kusema we are condemning this, that is it. But these are people who are making fame out of what they are doing. The next time, right now in Kenya, be a politician, do something stupid. The next time you'll be in all radio stations, all TV stations being interviewed, how you did it, why you did it. Unaona? So the president is just saying, because it's a trend that has been there, and the listeners are there. One day, maybe I'm foreseeing a scenario whereby people will walk out when a leader misbehaves. They just walk out or they condemn him. That is not going to happen because our country is put in a kind of bondage whereby we are so weak that any small thing can provoke us. It is only in Kenya that you can give somebody 50 bob to kill somebody, and he does it without any battle of an eye.
Wow.
Bwana Bitok, tuko na keep squared hapa hivi, wacha aongee yake na yeye pia.
All right.
Yes, good morning Gerald, and wamesema beautiful lady aonekani hapa, so I would love to believe she's beautiful.
Nataka kumuona. Yuko hapa tusije kama ataonekana. Umemwona?
Gerald, tolea watu sura yako ngumu kwa kamera.
Acha niwaambie tu muone Lucia for aesthetic value.
Revolution.
I definitely know Lucia, and so good morning Kenyans. When you go home, when you go America, it's good night. It's almost 4:30 p.m. In Sydney. So good to see you guys. Good. I saw your conversation yesterday and the previous day with an amazing economist, indeed. And Kishangani, is it Kishangani today or yesterday? You're doing well. You've started the new year with a bang.
Thank you, Ba.
Yes. Yep. So, but I think talking about what the president said yesterday, look, it's now the cat is out of what? The hiding, or the so-called rat is out of the hiding. Well, now we know why the president is actually fronting the BBI. He said he will not hand over the power or the leadership of the country to, he said some words. I don't know who that is. Hopefully he will tell us. Unfortunately, he's not the one to hand power to people. We, the people of Kenya, will be the one to hand power to whoever will choose to be the next leader of our republic. Kwa hayo machache, I will yield the floor.
Wow.
Arama.
Yes.
Bado kuna watu wengine kwenye line.
Yeah, so it's an interesting period in our country, and sometimes we just have to laugh. Before I forget, I saw something, and I'm just going to minimize my screen here a little bit so that I can read it for you.
Okay.
That really captured the essence of the country. So this was a post about yesterday or the day before by a lady called Linda Ogutu. She said, borrowers blacklisted on CRB hit 14 million. And as usual, Kenyans, I love Kenyans with their sense of humor. So the next person, Opio Jr., said, we need a secretary general, party name, and a flag bearer. 14 million is enough to win 2020 elections. And right after that, a gentleman called DJ Opio, I'm just giving a shout out, he came up with a party name, United Defaulters Movement.
UDM.
And there we are.
It's never a dull moment in Kenya.
Yeah.
It's never a dull moment. I think we found a way to live with our problems.
Yes.
Anyway, proceed.
But in essence, these people captured actually the frustrations and the challenges we are facing in the country. When I looked at Lucia's video, and I'm like, really, does it have to come to this point? Someone actually has to blast you in public before you do your job? I mean, why? I don't understand it. But I go back to the same thing I always say every time. Kenyans, it is our chance. Can we take 2022 seriously? And please, can we get these guys out of office? Every single one of them. Just send them home. These people, all they do is protect their cronies and their friends, attempting to pass and backdate a retirement for people who are in office 19 kachini at wanapata retirement. You ask yourself, which job? Bwana Dean, are you paid sitting allowance when you go to the office every day?
No, there's no job we can do that.
Maybe he never sits. Maybe he's always standing.
I'm to say my classroom allowance. You are in class, I'm on a speaking allowance. Nothing like that. These people campaign. Yeah. They know the salary they are supposed to get. When they get in parliament, they make sure they're in 1, 2, or 3, or 4 committees. They are paid for each committee. On top of that, they gave themselves even money for house allowance illegally that they are not supposed to have. They get paid salary, tax-free, while you, as a regular citizen, you are taxed. When I calculate the amount of taxes Kenya pay, the taxes is almost 60% of your pay. Ukienda kwa duka, unataxiwa. Ukinunua mafuta, tax. Ukiingia kwa gari ni tax. Everything is tax. Everywhere tax. But at the end of the day, you don't see anything that is benefiting you as a Kenyan from these taxes. People steal money. And what do? As long as you are singing the right song, everybody says you didn't do anything, you are sanitized. But the day you sing you dance to the wrong tune, then all your files, all of a sudden, they are found in DCI. People forget. And to me, it really pains me when I see, remember the Security Amendment Bill 2014 that was passed, where in this world that the police can arrest you and put you in jail for 30 days in the name of investigation?
Yeah.
30 days.
Using investigation as an arm.
Yeah, I mean, if you are arresting somebody, you have determined that this person has committed an offense. The next thing, should be a charge and brought to court so that they can determine, do you need a bail or not? But somebody holds you for 30 days. And they can even come and ask for an extension. Boss, na hiyo jealousy ati ni rahisi hapo, you lose weight in 2 days. You can die. So, I mean, now you talk of our leaders, mimi hata sijui, you saw, today I saw, it's as if these people are competing who is going to abuse the other person, the worst. You saw, I was talking to my friends here, and we were talking before we got on air. We were talking about Kalonzo Musyoka calling Mudarama some very nasty words. You know, man, he's a grown man. Why are you telling somebody that you're going to give his wife back? Jamani, and you want to be the president of this country? I mean, these are no things you speak in public.
Alisema aje tumalizana na yeye kwanza atakurudishia. Sasa sijui kumalizana ilikuwa gani.
The worst part, it's in a funeral. Jamani. I understand. If it's in a politics, yes, but a funeral, please, yeah, keep.
And that's the problem with misogynists. And
Yes.
and the problem with Kenyans are we've for a long time, right, allowed these men. I'm a man, yes, but we've allowed these men to use women as punching bags in politics. For example, when Sabina Chege was against certain grouping, when the lady from, I think, Naivasha or any other place were against Tanga, people like President MP came and calling that lady names and even telling us with whom the ladies hired a kid with so and so. Who needs to hear that? This is a respectable elected member of parliament. Why don't we hear about issues or family issues about men? Who's attacking? You see now, this thing of handing over Mutama's wife, I think it's not only belittling the lady, it's absolutely disrespectful. You cannot just hand over as if that marriage ending was an easy thing. It's not just walk in the park where you allow, marriages to break down and then you purport you'll be giving back the wife. As who? So I think it's about time, actually, we as Kenyan people need to say enough is enough of this abuse of women and taking them as tools whom we can just hand over when we are done with it, especially those in politics. Because if we cannot defend those in politics, I wonder what happens in our homes. So I think that's why I interjected. Sorry.
Thank you.
That is very true, because the commodification and thingification of a woman. Here is an old senator, and you talk as if they are your commodity. They have no agency or human action. This is now somebody I have. I will hand them to you, meaning they have no agency on their own. I think it is Kalonzo trying to come from being watermelon to another tough fruit or tough nuts, but boy, did it backfire. But again, Rama, you know that in the diaspora, the police stops you because they have seen something is wrong. Here, the police stop you and then cycles the car 4 times looking for what is wrong. That is a very different thinking of policing. You know that in the diaspora you are stopped because, sir, do you know why I stopped you? No, I don't. You are speeding. I saw this mistake. You didn't turn. You didn't do this. So this thing of stopping somebody and then investigating them and
can you press your brakes?
Right, and doing their check, like car exam. Can you now step on the brakes? I see if there's something wrong. That has been extended to Sonko, as you are saying. Look at it. Prosecution cannot be a tool for investigation. You prosecute because you have investigated. Prosecution cannot be a tool for getting evidence. You get evidence and you prosecute somebody because you have already enough evidence. It's not let us just throw everything on the wall and use it, because that is very keen to those days of Moi, the sedition charges. Remember, the reason that now even the bail became a right was that during those time you could be detained without trial and on publishing seditious items that could involve anything. and then you stay there for 3-4 months. By the time you are declared innocent, my friend, you have stayed for very long. You know, you had the story of a deer running in the forest when he saw Kenya police, and when he's told, why are you running, he said, I'm running because they're looking for the donkey. And he was told, but obviously you are not,
you're not
the beast of the barrier. He said, you tell that to Kenya court, it will take 8 months for them to discover that I'm not a donkey, and I will have suffered. You know, and practicing law in the US, we had a preliminary hearing where the court do not continue until they find that the crime was done, and you are kind of in the mix. We have not said you are guilty. Otherwise, they don't waste your time. I still remember a very interesting case I had where the police stopped one of my client then, and they kind of had been informed the client is a mule and has carried drugs. So when they stopped the client, you know the rule. The rule is only what you can see in your clear view by the window. The police cannot say, I want to search the car, because that is right to privacy. You cannot search, which the bill that they brought, the security bill in Kenya, actually rolled back what we had in our constitution. So you cannot search the car. You can only talk of what you have seen in plain view. So they couldn't see the drugs, but they know there's drugs somewhere. They detained him, they stalled him. Meanwhile, guess what is coming? The canine. Within 9 minutes, the dog came, got into the car, and showed where the drug was. The police arrested the client. When we went to court, we were asking the court to quash this evidence. Why? You detained my client for 9 good minutes. 9 minutes. And you had no reason, because the Supreme Court of the United States have already pronounced that a routine police stop should not take more than 4 minutes. 4 minutes. But here, you detain my client for 9 minutes without probable cause. This is a fruit of rotten tree. And the court agreed with us and suppressed the evidence and said you had no reason detaining him for 9 minutes, waiting for the canine, because you had no probable cause. They were not defending the drug lord. They were defending the human dignity and the privacy. That no, if you suspect somebody has drugs, come and get a warrant. We'll give you a warrant to go search. But we cannot stretch the rules. We cannot keep stretching the rules. Then we don't have privacy. Then we don't have human dignity. Then at the end of the day, we know they are good cops, but they're also bad cops. We know you mean well, but sometimes you might not mean well. So here is a case where Sonko, the Anti-Terrorist Act, is being used, because once I put you under that, it has 30 days, 30 days to investigate. You have no iota of inkling. It is a fishing expedition. But meanwhile, in those 30 days, we have to have a one-on-one talk with you in the cell. You know, the more things change, the more they remain the same. And I was reading the tale of the two cities. The city where we have the 2010 Constitution, and the city where we have the impunity, where the president is saying, I will still guide extrajudicially. And I like a line. It was saying it was the best of times, but it was also the worst of time. It was the age of wisdom, but it was also the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair, but we had everything before us. We as Kenyans are also on a crossroad. We cannot just accept. Country have changed not because of good people. Country have changed because of dissent. And I like that the diaspora people are calling us off and encouraging us that we must speak up. Louis died 3 months ago, and he said, if you see something wrong, please speak up. Yeah, don't just, the way goats and sheep die, there's a hyena eating them, and they bury their head under each one's tummy until they are all eaten. And nobody can just say, how about if we all jump or kick this nini or hit him with our forehead? Then we can survive this hyena. No, each one as they are being eaten is trying to hide their head under another one's belly. At the end of the day, one hyena has killed 100 people. So we have a choice. Thanks.
You have a choice to speak out or not. As we talk to, before I come back to you, Raman Diaspora, throw it back to Lucia. Kwanza, congratulations Lucia. Nasikia tayari umeshapata sponsorship kutoka Governor Mutua. Amesema atawekea kwa mamilioni ya pesa. In fact, hatukai mbali na wewe. From the day onwards, Ojwang is your security. Mimi ni secretary.
Security, isn't it?
Mutua amesema is going to invest in Lucia.
You know, before Ayela, Nini, when I was a student in Indiana, there's this white guy who kept picking me, taking me out. Picking me, taking me out. There were two guys. So then I realized there's this same-sex thing. So I was asking them, let us be honest, why are you guys spending so much money in when you go places you want me in your company? You know, they told me, Bwana, let us be honest. You are dark, you are black, you are tall, you are a security. With you, nobody can mess with us. So that shows you that I have a profile to offer that security.
So you're not even aware that you are a security.
No, I was wondering why are these people being so nice? They said, one, you know,
you look like a threat.
Two white guy, people can mess with us. Oh boy, you are dark. Man, you are huge. Look at you. You are bad. You are bad all by yourself. So you are a security, Bwana. And that is why we like you around us.